Benny Blanco from the Bronx, Carbon White. I am right back with some football information. Is this information really? But this is a football video. I think at this rate, this should be warming up to be your number one stop shop for football analysis, and just opinion regarding football. Could be local, could be international, could be Premier League, European, everything football. Yeah. And today I have a number of things to discuss. And of course, if you have been an ardent follower of the things that I am doing, you would realize that lately I've been talking a lot about the CHAN championships that are happening in East Africa. That's Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, the OG East Africa community that is hosting some 19 countries, the 3 hosting nations included. So as we get into this video, so please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the notification button, and just get on with this football community so that we get to know what opinions are out there regarding the things that we'll be talking about. So I have a number of things to talk about today, and I have listed them here so that I don't forget. Yeah, so sometimes it's good to have a list of things to talk about so that when you're done with the video, you're not thinking, oh, I forgot to mention such and such a thing, and then you want to record again and then try to squeeze it into the video when you're editing. Yeah, so we'll go sequentially, and we'll of course start locally before we get into anything international. So we'll continue first of all with the CHAN series, which is the topic of discussion in the entire East Africa. 3 nations joined together with Lake Victoria, and of course having this CHAN trophy, the new CHAN trophy being unveiled in Uganda, bringing together 3 legends within the 3 countries. I keep forgetting the Tanzanian guy. Sometimes when you're busy trying to find information, and then you have these things on top of your mind, and then when you're getting into the video, the name escapes your mind when you want to mention it, and then it comes later on when the video is done. But anyway, the new trophy was unveiled. We already had the opening ceremony happening in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, which was A-OK. It was amazing, and of course even the first match lived up to the billing. Of course you'd expect that Tanzania was going to win that one, and as expected, it happened. Kenya had their first match, Uganda already had their first match. So a number of matches have already been played. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far as at the time I am recording this video, and I'll give just a roundup of the results that have happened. I'll talk about some key highlights, and especially from Kenya and DR Congo match that happened. Yeah, and just the overall feel about this entire championship that is happening. So far, the matches that have been played, Morocco won against Angola 2-0, and then Kenya won 1-0 against DR Congo, and they are all in the same group. So of course now Morocco is leading the group on goal difference, but similar points as Kenya. And for this group, you realize that it's pitted Dr. Congo, I like calling them Dr. Congo because of the DR aspect. So DR Congo and Morocco are joint record holders of this CHAN championship. So they are really good. And of course, the game that happened between Morocco and Angola had no pushovers, but Morocco gave a good showing in this match, and you realize that we have an uphill task ahead. The good thing is that we got Dr. Congo out of the way, so it's good for us that we do not have a return leg for a tournament competition. So that was that, and we expect to have another match coming up against Angola and then Morocco. Still in this week, depending on how you count when your week starts and ends. So if it's a Monday to Sunday kind of thing, then on Thursday it's Kenya against Angola, and then on Sunday it's Morocco against Kenya. So I was on to the results. The opening fixture, as I had mentioned, Tanzania won 2-0 against Burkina Faso, which was also a pretty one-sided affair, where we had a lot of attacks from the Tanzanian side. They were so comfortable, they got to a point where they started showboating, and when it gets to that point, sometimes the interest in the game only favors either if you're supporting the particular team that is showboating, or you're in the stadium and you're receiving all these, or you're viewing firsthand all this fanfare in the stadium. So that's that. And then Madagascar beat Mauritania, not beat, how can you win 0-0? So Madagascar and Mauritania played to a goalless draw. Niger lost 0-1 against Guinea. So this is Conakry, not Bissau. So Bissau is not in the competition. So Niger lost 0-1 to Guinea, and then Uganda, as one of the hosting countries, lost 3-0 or 0-3 to Algeria over there. So they are among the 3 host nations. It's only Uganda which has lost, and that is quite a sizable loss. This would play against them if they get to a point where you're looking for goal difference to advance. So the other thing is that they're taking the top 2 in each group. We have 4 groups. They're taking the top 2 in each group, and then I hear they're also taking the best number 3. Yeah, so out of all the entire groups, you look at which team performed best among the number 3s across board. Yeah, so far that's that in terms of the results. Of course, there are some matches that have not been played. Of course, even in the group that Kenya is in right now, Zambia has not played a single match, and they are also quite a nasty team. They always advance past the group stage so far in this championship, and that's why we keep saying that Kenya is pulled in the group of death. And some of the things that I was talking about that I observed, and especially regarding Morocco's game against Angola, we had a really good turnout. Kenyans went to watch that match, and that's really commendable. I think for a lot of fans, football had been missing in this country. Not necessarily in terms of that football wasn't happening, but I think the support for the national team is immense, and for quite a number of time really, Kenya has not been playing their home matches in Kenya. It has always been away. So our home matches have been away games. So where you'd literally not find fans, where Kenya could mount up a good support, unless you're expecting that within those countries there are Kenyans who also not only just go to watch football because Kenya is there, but are also football fans, because there could be a game that probably someone is not even interested in, and it would really be a hard sell to get fans to go and attend. Now, imagine that Kenya, on the same day that Kenya won against DR Congo, Morocco was also playing against Angola, and still the turn up in the stadium was huge. It was immense, and that for an African, that made me really proud, and for a Kenyan, that made me extra proud that we love the game. We love the beautiful game, and we can only hope that this would be translated even locally, even at club level, and of course at some point we'll be talking about the football fan craze within the country, and see where we stand. And of course, for this one, I'd be looking at it particularly from my own perspective. If you have any opinion about it, any question, any clarification that you would want to make, if I make an aura in my aura, if I make an error in my opinion, you can always give a comment on the comment section. Yes. So that's that regarding that Angola against Morocco match, and Morocco is really strong. So come Sunday, this is a nervous game, and we hope that Kenya handles these games on a game at a time basis, that they don't look at the entire tournament from this point, because you might lose focus, that you're looking at the next match when you haven't played the current one. So we hope that Kenya will give a good showing. So the other thing that I was going to talk about was regarding ticketing, and this has been a bit scandalous. So CAF has been, according to what I hear, that CAF has been the one that is in charge of ticketing, and when you go online and book for your tickets, what happens is that if you try and book it late, you'll hear that it's sold out. So there's some information that we are not, I think it's being hidden from us, and this is an opinion. So on the one hand, there has been theories that government officials have been holding tickets so that they can limit the number of fans getting into the stadium, or you'd find there are people who, that's one. Number two, that there are people who are like buying tickets in bulk so that they can resell at a higher price to other fans. So that's the other theory. And the reason why I'm saying this is that Kasarani was sold out for the game against Dr. Congo, but what happened is that we had thousands upon thousands of empty seats in the stadium, and we felt a bit cheated, we could say so. So I think according to FIFA regulations that they are really much against ticket hoarding, and also enabling people to buy tickets from a what would I say, like black market. So at this rate, it's upon CAF to really find their act together, because they have earmarked a single ticket seller, and for this reason, people are supposed to get their tickets online at mook.com for the matches that are coming up. But now the problem is, according to my experience when we went to the stadium, that there are people who came with physical tickets, and you're wondering, okay, where did these tickets come from? Is it the reason why some sections weren't sold out? Probably the MOOC guys were given a certain number of tickets to sell. Arguably, let's say if they were given like 40,000, Kasarani is a 55 not 55, 48,000 according to information I am hearing. It's a 48,000 capacity stadium. So with this in mind, assuming Mook got around 40,000 tickets to sell online, and then you end up selling everything and you're remaining with nothing, so that's sold out according to them. And that's the only information that you have out there. And then in regards to physical tickets, you could see online that there are people who have actual physical tickets and they are selling. Prominent people, even political figures. So what happens in this scenario is if someone didn't manage to get a ticket, for example, the physical ones that were assuming that there were physical tickets, legitimate ones that were supposed to be sold and they didn't sell out, could that be the reason why we didn't have 100% turnout? The other theory is that people who are holding tickets and selling them at a higher fee, could it have deterred maybe fans from buying those similar tickets to the game, and those guys went at a loss? That's the other theory. The other one, I hear even the local organizing committee chair, Musonye, who was on NTV's Fixing the Nation, said that according to regulations, they can't fill the stadium 100% because they need to leave some breathing space, or so he says, for crowd control or something. And I wonder, in which country is it that maybe you need to leave breathing space? You always see, even international tournaments or matches, that you already know the capacity of the stadium. They tell you the attendance of that stadium, and there is nothing like breathing space that remains there. If you watch the Tanzanian game against Burkina Faso, there was nothing like breathing space as what we witnessed in Kasarani. And currently, even the game that is coming up against Angola is sold out on Thursday night. So are we expected to see a similar thing, or things will change? So the other thing is that there are some things that were restricted from being taken to the stadium. We had drums, we had vuvuzelas, whistles, flags. We had what other things? And especially just things that create this fanfare or atmosphere within the stadium, and it's part of the culture. If you attend local football, you'd get all of these things as part of the Kenyan football fandom happening around, and they were apparently banned, but you could clearly see these things there in Tanzania, and people are just having fun watching football. They are enjoying themselves, and whoever is in charge of these things, why is it happening in Kenya? Is it necessary even for you to restrict the fans from doing all these things? But ironically, we, as much as we tried to cooperate with what was said, a lot of people came in with whistles. I don't know, the search wasn't that thorough, so they found their way in there. We had people with vuvuzelas coming in, and one drum was snuck into the stadium, and that was amazing to see. And the guys who had the drum went around the stadium hitting that drum. Yeah, it brought up such good vibes, and we hope that all these things will just help to push on the Kenyan team to even get a bit far in the CHAN championships. So of course there are some other teams that are yet to play their first match in this tournament, so we expect to have their results in and see where and start to also have predictions on where this is going to go. As it is right now, according to my view, I'd say still Algeria and Morocco are heavy favorites, but of course we have dark horses in it. Senegal could win it because they are also the defending champions. Who knows about Dr. Congo? They could mount up a comeback and see where all of this goes. Yeah, so that's that regarding CHAN. We will follow up with more news about it and inform us so that we get to know where we are headed. So, the other thing, okay, maybe before I forget, one of the things that I was trying to do about this particular tournament is also highlighting which country has the strongest league in Africa. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because you'd get a lot of, not a lot, all the teams in this tournament are using local players, the players that only play in their local leagues. So with this in mind, we are going to have a feel to know which country has the strongest. It's a good indicator, if you ask me, of which league is stronger, but it does not really cover all the metrics, but it covers a good number that you can use. So for example, if Kenya win it, for example, you could argue that it is stronger in an aspect of maybe the level of talent within the country. It doesn't necessarily highlight the level of development of the game within those countries, but it's also one aspect that you're looking at, so that maybe going forward a country could maybe look at how their football is and see how they can improve it. The other aspect in measuring the strength of the league is also in terms of their commercial value. Yeah, so you could find probably in terms of a talent level, they could not be up to scratch, but then you'd realize that in terms of revenue generation, then they are a bit higher and people just want to go into those leagues. So currently I'd argue for Morocco, I'd argue South Africa hasn't yet played a single game, but you could also squeeze them in there, and also Algeria. But then, and even Dr. Congo because of TP Mazembe, of course. But then now, the only thing that gives other teams a fighting chance, because you could argue the Tanzanian league is way stronger than the Kenyan league, but what makes the difference here is that a lot of these strong leagues, what happens is that they import a lot of players from other countries. So for example, recently Mohamed Bajaber, who plays for Kenya, was bought by Simba. He plays for Kenya Police, and then he was bought by Simba, so he wasn't eligible to play in the CHAN Championship because now he has to be playing in the Tanzanian league. So with this, you could argue and say that in the Tanzanian league, for example, in Simba, how many of their starting 11 are foreign-based players? Yeah. So if you just had local players, are they up to scratch in terms of their talent level? The other thing maybe you could look at is a multiplier effect, where you would argue that with the influx of talent from abroad or from other countries into your league, it also raises your standard at a skill level, at work ethic level. You could argue that could also suffice. So this is also going to be one of the things that we will be looking at to know which country has a stronger league, and also try and see if we can disaggregate what makes them strong, or what aspects about the strength of the league are they. Yes, So this builds into maybe at a more local scene or perspective. Just a moment. Want to charge. So this builds more into what I also want to talk about in terms of the football fan culture in Kenya. Recently, I did a survey of football fans. Particularly I centered around sports in general, and especially team sports. And majority of, let's say, over 99%, not 100%, over 99%. So that's 99 points things up there, had football as their favorite sport. We had some who were talking about volleyball. There was basketball, but of course now football took over. And this survey was just about their involvement within the Kenyan football or the Kenyan sports scene. I'm just saying football because majority of them, almost 100%, were talking about football. Are they particularly involved? How committed are they in watching local football? Do they go to games? How many games in a season do they attend? What's their favorite team? What prevents them from going to these games? And then I asked myself, could it be maybe the ticketing issue, or maybe tickets are expensive for them to afford to get into a match? Because you'd find that teams such as Shabana FC, FC Leopards, Gor Mahia have a huge following in the country, but then according to my views, currently Shabana is the most organized in terms of ticketing. FC and Gor could do better because of the size of club, size of fan base, and with this you are looking at a situation where these three clubs are community based, and because of that nature, then you have a particular demographic of people who just attend your football matches. And then now when these three teams clash, that's when you get like full stadium attendance. But then I asked myself, is it really a ticketing issue? Because, and hear this, the only competition that rivals the Kenyan Premier League in terms of match attendance, and it's not even close. Not even like, when I say not even close, is that the Kenya Premier League doesn't even come close to this competition, and it's not even in the lower divisions of the FKF leagues in the country. The Kenya High School Games, there's no football competition apart from Harambee Stars that has a fanatical following as secondary school games. And there's a lot to be learned out of these secondary school games. Recently, there has been a finals match between St. Joseph's Kitale and Musingu High School. So St. Joseph's Kitale, popularly known as Jobo, won 1-0 against Musingu. Musingu is from Kakamega. So football has over the years, it has been dominated by schools in the western sides of the country. And if you go by recent trends, the secondary school games have been held in the western regions because of the fan culture. There's a lot of people attending these matches in this particular region, and with this you wonder, how is it that people are so passionate about high school games, and you find them even in like daytime on a weekday. The stadiums are full to the brim, no breathing space, as is being highlighted in some circumstance. And the rivalry in high school games is on another level. There are people who identify, because of the region that they are coming from, they identify with a particular school, and the fans that do attend these matches are committed. They are, I don't know, they are very passionate. And I think the Premier League should probably study and see what is it that they can learn from this, because the schools cannot say that this is what they do to the fans. What can they do, really? They're just loved. How can football clubs make their own fans love them even more? How can, because if you said that you're going to have a free game, like you're going into the stadium, not even a big one, go to Dandora Stadium and say that there's a match between Posta Rangers against Talanta FC. Try and fill that stadium, and it's for free. Yeah, probably someone would come in there because they didn't have anything left to do, and then they just thought, let me go and chill and watch that game. Like, truth be told, how can we invest into having fans into the stadium, and it doesn't necessarily have to involve money? Yeah, because high school games are offering no monetary incentives to fans to attend these matches. Yeah, so it's a point to ponder upon. Yes, so that's from the local and regional aspect. So the other thing is on the English Premier League. We are in August, yeah, and the Premier League is well and truly on our way. It's coming up, and I can't wait for my Arsenal, yeah, to come back to the pitch with the new signings, with potential new signings, with injured players coming back, with the reinvigorated. It also eludes me. Yeah. So we are expecting a lot. There's a lot that is happening, especially in the football transfer scene, where Liverpool have been on a madness. I think for them, this has been like this has been a legendary transfer for Liverpool, considering over the years when people were, even their own fans were against the FSG, the Fenway Sports Group, whom they accuse of being very stingy when it comes to the transfers, that they are not paying any money. But recently they have been paying up. You could see that by the time they were investing in Virgil van Dijk, he was the most expensive defender in the world until Maguire happened. There was their goalkeeper, who was also the most expensive goalkeeper until Kepa happened. Now Kepa is Arsenal's second choice goalkeeper. It's something that we await to see in terms of how the new signings are going to gel in. We have Florian Wirtz, we have Ekitike, the new striker, we have Frimpong, we have Kakes, and then now there is also a potential for either a Rodrigo or even an Isak. But for the Isak one, it was a bit strange because Liverpool put in a bid for Isak, 120 million pounds, and Newcastle rejected that bid. And then what I hear is that Liverpool walked away from that deal, and I felt this was such a boss move from both clubs that Newcastle are not going to be bullied into accepting anything because of the juggernaut that Liverpool is. But then also Liverpool just tried to also flex and said, take this or leave it. We are just trying to show you that we can pay up. So if you do not want, then stay. But the only downside to this is that probably if Liverpool went in for someone like Rodrigo, then Real Madrid would always know that Liverpool have the money to pay up. It only now depends on the negotiation into this deal, because they have already sold Diaz. So it's also a wait and see to see if they are going to replace him in this situation. But Liverpool are stronger. Truth be told, they are stronger than they were last season, and in last season they won the league. With Man City, I still consider them to be the same, even if they had new additions in the course of even leading up to the Club World Cup. So we are yet to see how they pan out. For Chelsea, they have made really good acquisitions, and they finished fourth, but I expect them to they are a bit stronger. I'd say they are a bit stronger, but in terms of what I want to talk about, I don't expect so much from them because what I intend to do is give my Premier League predictions, early Premier League predictions before anything happens. So probably I'll do this and then once the transfer period is over and we are well into like 10 matches in the league, we could start predicting who we think will win. But as for now, this is who I think will finish in the top 5. Now in the top 5, assuming that England will also send 5 teams to represent the country in the UEFA Champions League. So one, of course, it has to be the Arsenal one. Why? Because Arsenal last season had bare injuries. Yeah, it was the most injured team in the Premier League. So it's of course we are also talking at this or looking at it in terms of wishful thinking, but you'd argue that if people remain fit, yeah, we have a really good squad, and for a majority of this previous football season, in 3 months we didn't have Saka, in 2 months we didn't have Odegaard, towards the end of the league we didn't have Gabriel Magalhaes, we didn't have Kai Havertz. Imagine we're talking about, we are complaining we didn't have Havertz because we know that Havertz was on a good roll and he could have won us some number of games. We didn't have Martinelli for a period of time, and then also in terms of our matches that we said that referees, you could argue like around 4 matches referees messed our games up. So for that reason, you'd say if everything remains constant, referees are fair, our injured players are back and fit, we are a strong squad. One, we had the best defense in the league. Even if Liverpool won, Arsenal had the best defense. In midfield, we can go toe to toe with any team. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle, all of those. we can go toe to toe. We have new additions in Zubimendi. We have Nogard as backup plan. Maybe as fans, that's what we are looking at, or what we think. Nwaneri has grown up, yeah. So we are looking at it and seeing where would this take us. And if we get an Eze, oh my goodness, that would be quite amazing. But going by what we already have so far, what we were missing is a striker, a recognized number 9. So the question you ask yourself, if Merino, of all the players, can fill in at striker, and he's a midfield player, and he scores a lot of goals, more than some other big teams in the Premier League who have recognized strikers, and he scores more. So what would a bona fide number 9, the top scorer in Europe for the past 2 seasons in Victor Gyökeres, do if he gets some chances that we always say, if we only had a striker? Yeah, we had 12 draws. Some of those draws could have been turned into wins, and with this you are looking at, if you had like a top finisher, he doesn't have to be fancy, but he knows where to get the ball when we are in the 6-yard box. Yeah, so with Liverpool, of course, for them, their strength is in their attack. Yeah, so you'd always say that if you score 3, Liverpool will score 4. If you score 7, they'll score 8. So that's their only strength. So if it gets to that point where we are competing with Liverpool, remember we always say defenses wins leagues. Yeah, so for me, it's Arsenal. Number 2, I think it's going to be Manchester City, because I do not expect Pep Guardiola to fall off as he did last season. So I am expecting a comeback from Man City, but it won't be enough for them to win the Premier League. So I am placing them at 2nd. Number 3, I have Liverpool. With their firepower, I have Liverpool. But this is the caveat to it. If Liverpool don't finish 3rd, they'll finish 1st. So I am looking at a scenario where last season Arne Slot overachieved. So this is where you are supposed to start experiencing the cracks of the matters into Liverpool. So I expect Liverpool to flop, but if everything gels, the caveats I was talking about, Liverpool could win. So they are going to either be 3rd or 1st, not 2nd, 3rd or 1st. But of course, I can't predict them to win the league over my team. And then number 4, I expect Newcastle United to finish 4th, because overall I think they have a better squad than who I have at number 5, which is Chelsea. A better squad in this sense that they are more balanced than Chelsea are, because Chelsea you'd find just pockets of people who play really well, and with that it won't be good enough. For Newcastle, it's overall a balanced team with Isak up top. So if he's sold, they're still balanced. They could win a number of matches, but not, of course, many. If Isak is sold, we could also start arguing about their position in the league, but they could also capitulate. So it's also a matter of time before we know. When all these things unfold, as they always say it, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Yeah, I hear some people say the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Who says that? The proof is in the pudding. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. So until next time, see you in the next one.